Mr. Preetham B R. He's Executive Director and CEO of Sansera Engineering, joins us right now on the show. Mr. Preetham, thank you so much for taking the time out and speaking to us. Great having you today. This is Neeraj Shah here. Good morning. Can you just
Morning, Mr. Neeraj. Good to be here on NDTV Profit. This is my first time on your channel. Thank you for hosting me.
No, the pleasure is entirely ours, Mr. Preetham. Would love to understand, for people who are uninitiated, just tell us a bit about Sansera and what are the, let's say, what is the breakup between the different segments that you have currently?
Yeah. Sansera Engineering was incorporated in 81 and it was started by our current chairman and managing director, Mr. Shekhar Vasan, who is an IIT IM alumni. We started production in 87, started as a machining company, machining of precision engineering, forged and machined components. Later on, we backward integrated into forgings. So we have been focused on very, very niche components of both high precision category in engine and transmission for all these years. And we have been the market leaders in most of the components that we do for. As segments, initially it started with passenger vehicles, then it moved on to two-wheelers, then also we forayed into commercial vehicles, then into aerospace and defense. Today, as it stands, post technology changes that have started coming into the automotive industry, we at Sansera have also started diversifying into various other components beyond IC engine components and beyond automotive. So as we speak today, we are into industrial engines, we are into off-road vehicles, aerospace, defense. We have recently invested in a technology startup company who are into, again, as you rightly said, semiconductor packaging and also into radar manufacturing.
Right. So, Mr. Preetham, as I look at, I'll come to the semiconductor foray in just a moment, but as I look at your FY24 growth over FY23 growth, the non-auto business on a low base, of course, grew at about 90-95%. Auto ICE also did well, but the EV segment also did well. Where do you think is the biggest bang buck for growth over the course of the next 2-3 years? And do you become a 70-30, 60-40 or a 50-50 split between auto versus non-auto in 3 years' time?
While the intent of the company is to, diversify into various categories apart from automotive, but to be very honest, there has been a lot of momentum in auto sector as well. While what we have done is, to de-risk our business, we have got into a lot of technology agnostic components in automotive sector, apart from diversifying into non-automotive as well. So between the technology agnostic components, XEV and non-automotive, company intends to reach up to 40% of these three put together, and approximately 60% will be coming from automotive segment in a near future. That's what is the vision.
Means by FY26 maybe?
It may not be FY26,
27.
FY27.
27, 28. Yeah. Okay, fair call. Yes. Now tell us a bit about this semiconductor foray, Mr. Preetham, because as I understand, it's by a group entity and not necessarily by the listed entity. Am I correct? And if so, how does the listed entity benefit from it?
Yeah. Recently, a year back, we have invested into this deep technology startup called rfic. They are a company who are very highly focused on very high-end millimeter wave radars. As a part of that, they have also started doing semiconductor packaging. Recently, they have opened up a clean room facility. Sansera, we have invested and then we have the right to go up to 51%. This company is very highly focused on high-end radars, which would be also used in both defense, surveillance, electronic warfare, automotive, and so on and so forth. So as we see today, a lot of adaptation of radar technology is happening even in autonomous vehicles. So we are very focused on bringing this company on board into our existing clientele as well, apart from their own strength in defense and surveillance.
So I have a question. Sorry, is this done via the listed entity or is this done via a group
No,
entity?
this is primarily done by our investee company.
But so do the, even if you go above 51%, whatever, how
Yes.
does the listed entity benefit from this? Does it?
No, basically two things. One is that we see a lot of upside on this business going forward because last 7 years they have done the hard work. Now that the things are getting into production, and this is a very high technology, very high margin business, and of course, 51% of the business proceeds would come into our balance sheet as well. Apart from that, because of their foray into deep into defense and space, Sansera, the listed entity, will also get benefited because of the synergies that we can get create between the two entities.
Okay. I get it. Now, the various plans that you have, and we can chalk out one or two of those, but the broad brush number first. And I know you won't be able to give exact numbers because you might be in a silent period. But what I want to know is, when you look at FY27 and non-ICE or non-auto cumulatively becoming hopefully 40%, does it do anything to alter the operational metrics and the return ratios of the company, Mr. Preetham? Because as I see it, from let's say March 21 or thereabouts till now, you steadily maintain your operational metrics at about 17 odd percent, give or take a few percentage points here and there, but your operating margins are around 17%. Would that be the case, or can the newer businesses, the non-auto businesses, hike the overall margins for the company going ahead?
Yeah. So generally, our non-auto business is primarily coming from overseas market, which means that the margin profile would certainly be better compared to the domestic market, domestic products that we do. But having said that, in the process of now this high growth, we are also getting into newer segment like aluminum forged components, higher industrial engines. All these are on the it's in the establishing cycle. So we haven't yet fully optimized these cycles. So in the next couple of years, those leverages also would kick in, apart from improved contributions from non-automotive segments as well. So I would like to say that we have always maintained that our margins would be range bound between 17 and 20%, and as the exports improves, the margin should go towards the higher end of this band.
Got it. And in the last 3 years, give or take, you've kind of double your size on the book, on the revenue front, right? Roughly 1550 odd crores to roughly 3,000 crores as of March 24. Do you see that on this high base, but with the newer initiatives, you could again double it in 3 years' time? Is that a possibility?
Actually, to be very fair, we are in Amrit Kaal, so a lot of good business inflows are coming into India. And if you really look at our order book, which is at the beginning of this year, it stands at about 1,600 and odd crores. What I mean by this is a peak annual revenue when the entire business matures, and this is not yet contributed to any of our current business. So our 2,800 and odd crores, which is going to have the normal growth, including the industry growth and some unmatured business in that which will grow. Plus, add to that this 1,600 crore, we should mature in the next 3 years' time. And if you really add and do a simple maths, I think we should be able to achieve 15 to 20% CAGR growth over the next 3 to 4 years. So I don't see any issue on that.
And last question, because again, I know you can't talk too many numbers. Maybe you can't get into too many details. So we'll do that when we do the quarterly earnings interview, Mr. Preetham. Completely appreciate that. But one last question. Do you intend to improve, and is it possible to improve the quality of growth via better return ratios as well? Because that's maybe it's a lot of businesses are newer businesses, so ROCs don't jump up as much. But do you reckon that from these mid-teens, your return on capital, ROE, etc., can inch higher over the course of the next 2-3 years?
Yes, in fact, the company is working on a company-wide, goal of achieving 20-20-20 on all the three parameters: growth, EBITDA, and ROCE. But having said that, ROCE, as you rightly pointed out, would be the most difficult and the challenging one because our business is also quite capital intensive as we are fully integrated. That is what is bringing us the new business and more complicated business as well. So as our contribution from newer segments and the non-automotive business and exports improves, I think the rows will also be there. I think that would be the last one where we will be able to achieve. But we are very confident. This year also we are investing about close to $70 to $75 million into our capex into newer programs. So we are looking forward for a really good couple of next few years.
We wish you all the best for that and more, Mr. Preetham. Thanks so much for taking the time out and speaking to us. Look forward to talking to you, maybe post your quarterly numbers.